This is the Tom Che Show. It's not the Che Tom Show. It is my favorite show because it is my show. This is the Tom Che Show. It's not the Che Tom Show. It is my favorite show because it is my show.
What's up? What's going on, Tom?
Oh, hey, not a whole lot. I'm lost in the moment, in the magic of the song.
Oh, I know that. Just those vocals, that goal line cards. It's just soothing. I mean, it's absolutely soothing to the soul. No, welcome everybody. Glad you're here with us. Episode number 2 of the Tom Che Show, not the Che Tom Show. Make sure that we get that straight. No, it's been a couple of weeks since we've been with you. We usually try to do this on a Monday night, but due to the national championship game on Monday night, we didn't want to take away from those kids and pull eyeballs away from that game. So we decided, for their sake, we would wait till Wednesday to do it this week. So here we are. First thing I want to say is I went back and watched our first episode. And the one glaring thing to me that stood out is I did a terrible job interacting with the chat. So as Charles Barkley would say,
that's terrible.
Yeah, I did a terrible job. So tonight I'm going to try to do better. I'm going to try to interact with with the chat a little bit better. And speaking of which, I don't even have the chat up. So let me get up there and see. Oh, we just got 2 from you, Tom. So nothing in the chat yet. So I'm not missing out on anything yet. But let's get right into it, Tom. What you been up to, man?
I'm just working. I just had a little bit of a schedule shift. Enjoying opening day. I remember you said you were going to go hang out with your pops. How did that go?
Well, I got there and his cable was out. So we had to wait for Time Warner, Spectrum, whatever it is. I can't keep up with the name. They got there. By the time they got it fixed, we turned it on and we're losing 6-1. And so, I just got to hang out with him. And, that was the most important part. But since then, the Reds are on pace to be the best team in the history of Major League Baseball. We're on pace to win 135 games. So absolutely, man, I'll take that opening day shellacking that we got, and take 5 consecutive wins, scoring 10 to 15 runs a game. So they've got me pumped, but I'm pumped with reservations because I'm a realist and I know my Reds. But it's been fun. It's been a fun first week of the season for sure.
First day, Rockies going up against Kershaw. I went on Twitter and I said to some of the Rockies people I follow, it's an ongoing joke, tacos with an apostrophe S. That means the Rockies are going to score 7 runs. Because if they score 7 runs, Taco Bell gives you free tacos. So that, tacos.
Right.
And they were doing, they're like, what's your prediction for today? And I said, tacos, we're going to chase Kershaw score. And then and in my heart, I was like, I do think we'll win this first game because they come out strong on opening day at Rockies at home. And then we're going to lose like 10 games in a row. And so far, they're on pace to do that. So it's kind of the opposite of what you have. You had you got crushed by the Cardinals, and then you guys just started thumping people.
Oh, yeah.
And, flexing and whatever. You're, having fun with baseball. While I'm over here just,
Well, the thing about baseball, man, is it is a long season. So anything can happen. I have no doubt that we're going to come back down to earth, and but it'll be fun. Like I said in my tweet, I'm not trying to get political or anything like that. I got both my shots. My dad, who's been battling cancer for 2 years, that's kept us, because I don't want my visit to my dad to kill him.
Yeah.
It's just plain and simple, So we have only visited through the glass, or him on the front porch and me in the front yard, since last year, since this whole thing started. So he was first in line to get, with his age and the cancer, he was first in line to get his shot. So he got his 2 shots before me, but I was able to get mine. And by damn, I'm going to visit him, and we're going to watch some Reds this summer, and we're going to enjoy ourselves for sure. So,
good. Yeah.
If we could sit here. Tom and I haven't talked since the last episode.
Yeah, so we'll talk forever, just drag it out.
We're going to drag it. Yeah, let's get to some topics. We didn't prepare. This might be a train wreck. This might be a disaster. Tom's work schedule changed.
It will be.
Yeah, we didn't do a lot of prep for this show. We do have a couple of ideas of topics we want to hit, but let's get to some news of the week, because I know, Tom, there's been some news in the hobby.
Yes,
and as usual, it's not positive reaction to this news. So let's just jump right into it, and I'll just. You're the man, you're the influencer, you're the guy with all the knowledge and the opinion. So I'm just going to bring up the topics and let you just go at it. So grading. All right. Since we last talked, PSA just said, we quit. We're shutting down. Yeah. Don't send any more cards to us. SGC has said, we've never had a card value at more than $75 in our history of our company, but now we're going to charge you $75 to grade them with us. And then HGA is just doing HGA things. So, what do you think? What are you thinking on this, Tom?
That's not even the end of it. Someone posted a conversation. It's probably fake, but it wouldn't surprise me that the comic book CSG, the new one with the 4-head slabs, the 5-head slabs, they're going to raise their prices up because now they can't keep up. So I was making fun of SGC. Raising their price to $75 on April Fool's Day because, April Fools, it's real. I did forget about how beloved they are in vintage, and trust me, everyone with a vintage freaking card slab reminded me. And most of them knew my sense of humor, where I'm like, Tom's just goofing around. He knows, but he doesn't, But then, one dude went at me hard and posted, when people post your profile picture, and they're trying to say look at this dork and idiot, and you're like, so that drove me nuts. PSA, it's probably good they shut down because even though they're like, hey, we're raising all our prices, people are like, take all our money even more. And causing all kinds of issues. I finally have one card, the Guy Fieri garbage pail sticker that I wanted to send to PSA, and then they shut down. So I was going to, talk to Chris Goldline and say, hey, can I get in on this submission? But that didn't happen. HGA they can't spell. That drives me nuts. Hire someone, pay them $30 an hour to look at every card and be that quality control that a quality control company should have. Your whole existence is quality control. We're telling you this is the quality of the card, but we can't spell Kobe Bryant's name right. We can't spell Michael Jordan's name right. We put autograph on a card that's not autographed. And then once, hey, we misspell your Jerry Rice card 5 times, we're going to send you a breakup letter and say it's impossible to grade cards and do this 100%. So we're just going to break up with you. Good luck going elsewhere. And that's what I thought was the most ridiculous was that and HGA's response to the guy that had the Jerry Rice that had the errors he kept trying to get fixed. They said, this is a literal impossible task. And I tweeted it out. I was like, how is it literally impossible? You get the card, you grade it, you slab it, you make sure everything's spelled right, and then you send it back. That's not literally impossible because you've done it. PSA, every grading company has done that every day, but you're telling them it's literally impossible to be perfect. The grading is not perfect. Yeah, you could be off here or there. We don't mind that. I think as customers, if, that's a 9.5 and it should have been a 9, or it's a 9, it could have been a 9.5. That's why we do the whole regrading thing when we're not happy. But, it's just kind of crazy to see that they've all lost their minds. And what do you think? Because I need something to drink because I'm just. I think you're muted.
I am. Thank you, Tom. Chris, that was an homage to Goldline Cards. He's watching. I saw him
He's
comment.
in the chat.
Yeah, he's in the chat. So I absolutely, I needed to mute myself once just as, pay tribute to him. And if you watch his show, you'll get that. No, HGA, man. When I here's a lesson on make sure you get the backstory before you comment. I spent from 2004 till 2015 in some sort of retail management, not necessarily frontline, but in retail management and in customer care. And there have been times when I have invited a customer to go to another company. It happens. The breakup letter is necessary at times because the customer is not always right. And I almost tweeted in response to that, but I took the time to see that the guy had laid out his case. And, you nailed it. You nailed it on that. And that they have such an opportunity. And I'm not an HGA fan. I haven't sent any cards to them, but by damn, I want them to succeed to give us another option. And they just they can't get out of their own way. I am not, one thing I've learned is that if there's a bigger fanboy customer base than Apple iPhone users, it's PSA fanboys because dude, you don't want to mess with PSA, because it literally they've had the pitchforks out and been on the witch hunt since day one with HGA, which has put a microscope on HGA, but man, they have not answered the bell. So they're in. I talked with Chris about this, I think about a month ago on the show Chris and I do, is they've got a great opportunity, but they are under the microscope and they need to be damn near perfect. And they've been anything but. The others, I'm not going to get on a PSA rant. I've just never been a fan. They make mistakes too. They've been in business 30 years. To get themselves in a position where they have a 1-year turnaround on submissions of any level, that fault lies squarely on them. I know the market has changed, but they're big enough and they should have seen some stuff coming. They should have been prepared to be able to handle this a little bit differently. And instead of just saying, we'll raise the price, we'll slow it down by raising the price. People are paying $2,300 for a hobby box of Prism. Raising the price on grading is not going to stop them. No. People are paying $1,000 for a 28-year-old rookie who's had 9 major league at bats. They'll pay $1,000 for one of his cards. They'll pay whatever. They'll pay the raised prices to grade. The way they've dealt with the change in the hobby has led to this, and they should not be praised in any way for how they've handled this last year. So thankfully, hey, it's not mint, but it's mine. That's my philosophy. The only time I grade is if I've got a card that I know is not mint and I'm intending to sell it and I don't want to get a return, because this is another show. Yes. But Chris and I have talked about this before. If you're selling $1,000 card and it's not Gem Mint 10 in the eyes, then you're getting $1,000 return and you're paying the $100 final sales. You're losing $100.
Yeah, you're out a lot.
So the only time I've ever graded is if I have the intent to sell. But still, and you can't avoid it if you're on Twitter and you're in the hobby. You can't avoid these arguments, and it's been exhausting. It's been exhausting. So moving on because we're 6. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I want to talk about the Dan Serbius HGA thing.
Okay.
Real quick, I'll try to be as fast as I can because I know we talked a lot about this, but you know, HGA and SGC and a lot of these others, they're like, hey, we're not PSA. Trade with us. We're new. They're the old boomers. You know, we'll turn around fast. You tired of weights? You tired of paying? And then they come out, you know, and they say this with their social medias. And then they do the same stuff. You know, they're screwing up and they're like, you know, you're chirping. You know, it's like the rookie that sacks Aaron Rodgers, you know, and you're chirping at Aaron Rodgers. You're like, dude, like, yeah, he's been around forever. Quarterbacks get sacked, no big deal. But anyway, Dan Serbia Sports Cards, he's got a lot of followers on Twitter. I think it was like 3K, something like that. You know, he's pretty knowledgeable. He comes off like an a-hole, kind of like a jerk, but I think that's kind of just like an act and not really who he is 100%. I think he just tries to be like, you know, like, I'm this. This is my persona. Like, I wear a Snoopy hat. That's my hobby persona. And some people, you know, kind of like, I'm smart, tough guy opinions, you know, and hey, that's whatever it is. I've never had bad interactions with him. I've disagreed with him a lot. And you know, we've joked at each other. But the other day, well, this starts before that, like 2 Sundays ago, he sends me a direct message and he's like, hey, will you look at this and see what's going on? And it was this woman who had dug up a 12-year-old Facebook joke that Dan made. It was a very poor taste joke about Helen Keller and Stephen Hawking. You know, like, we don't joke about that anymore. This was 10, 12 years ago. You know, probably shouldn't have done it then, but like, what is he, 30-something now? He's 20-something then. Yeah, you're stupid. You know, I could forgive a joke like that. Like, yeah, that was a dumb joke. It's forgiven if you are remorseful. And if you say, that was a joke I made when I was stupid and 20 years ago. And he did tell me that in my DMs with him. But he's like, look at this. She dug it up and she was sending him private messages like, why do you hate HGA? And he was just like, they're garbage. And you can search his Twitter because he had these DMs. He screenshotted them and put them up. You know, and, you know, he attacked her. And anytime he criticized HGA for those days, she would pop up and be like, hey, hobby friends, is this the guy that you like? Is this the guy you want representing you? And posting that joke from, you know, Facebook. And then one day he just kind of snapped and he made a, you know, like, why don't you go make your husband a sandwich joke? And that's, you can't say that anymore. That's, you know, a sexist joke. I'm not saying he is sexist. I'm not saying he's misogynistic. You know, he's got a wife, he's got a family. He told me, he's like, that's not who I am. But you still have to apologize for that. Even if that's not who you are, if you say something stupid and offensive, you still need to apologize. So Dan, you should just be like, hey man, I said this in error because I thought this was an HGA burner bot account. And I didn't think it was a real person, but this affects real people. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm kind of with him on that. Like, not to be too tinfoil Snoopy hat, but the way that she attacked him and the way she has all the posts that she had, it seemed like she could legit be an HGA like super fan or related to someone in the company or just a burner account that they picked up cheap on the black web and were just like, hey, you know, we're going to have this person, you know, tweet. And it's funny because, like, I went through her tweets, you know, just like, what's going on? Like, who is this? You know, some people follow her that we, you know, are friends with. And I was like, and she's got some pictures where she's like holding a card, you know, like whatever. And in her profile picture, she's like the whitest woman in the world, one of them. But if you look close at like her thumbs and fingers holding the card, either she was tanned to a crisp in a tanning salon or there's some weird lighting going on, or the person that's holding those cards is not the white woman in the picture. So that aside, even if you have someone crazy coming at you, trying to shut you down, which happened to me actually the other night for a bad joke I made, but you still have to apologize to be like, hey, you know, that was offensive and I'm sorry, move on. But please, if you know Dan and you're kind of like, I don't want to defend him or show him support, he's a good guy, I think. I feel in my heart like he's a good guy. He's just got that persona of, know-it-all, kind of a jerk. Yeah, and here the comment, we got Chris Enzo. Is it pretty odd she went back that far on his Facebook? Yes. If you're on Twitter and you went back 10 years on Twitter, okay, because that's where that argument's happening. If Che and I get in a fight on Twitter and he goes to my wife's Instagram, that's crazy. I'm sorry. That is insanity. So she was wrong and women were wrong by his stupid joke. He apologizes for that, and I'm cool with him. He and I talked, so he and I have resolved that on our own level. But he needs that. If he wants us all to support him and rally around him, I think he just needs to make that little moment that's like, this is why I said this. This is what I was thinking. I didn't think this was a real person or a bot. I thought it was a bot or a burner. I didn't think about how this could affect the other women in the hobby or just in the world in general. It was stupid of me. I'm sorry. That's not who I am. I love my wife. I love my kids, and I appreciate women in the hobby. But that's just kind of like, what he should do. We want our friends to do well. We want them to succeed. We want to help each other's blogs and videos and podcasts. And he quit his podcast. He quit some of the websites he did because he was like, I'm going to get canned, but hey, I'll just remove this from them having to do it. And I'm just going to go. So he lost. He took an L, so if he just talk to him. If you were friends with him before, just talk to him. And, he's just kind of in this doomer mood. And it would be nice if he is truly remorseful, which from my conversation, I believe he is, I want to help him succeed again. And I just want to help everyone. And, one mistake, that's, we can recover from one mistake if there is true remorse. So that's kind of what I wanted. This tied in with the grading because my SGC tweet joking about I've never seen a card $75 and then people hating me and posting my profile pic and being like, look at this face. And I'm like, I know, it's where I wear the Snoopy hat. Because you laugh at the hat, you can't laugh at how stupid I look. You bash HGA, they're going to dig up your Facebook from 10 years ago, and they're going to be like, every time you say anything, they're going to be like, look at this guy. Is this your friend? So thankfully, the others haven't come at me or anyone else I know. But this is Democrat, Republican. This is Coke, Pepsi, PlayStation, Xbox, Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Toyota, whatever. This grading stuff is out of control, and it's just like, hey, if you like PSA and they do right by you, I'm happy. If you like HGA and their fidget spinner, stupid looking art for people slabs, I'm happy for you. I'm not here to cause a fight, but HGA, I was a big supporter of theirs. They've lied about the AI. They've kind of treated people I like crap. So I'm a kind of a hater on them. I want them to succeed, but I have to tell them you're being stupid and screwing this up so that they will hopefully figure this out because we need more solid options and not the, stamping at home. I'm sorry we talked forever.
Hey, no, when I opened this show, I said, I'm just going to steer this ship and go from topic to topic and hand it to you and let you go. And that, man, I can't add any more to that. I don't really, Dan and I follow each other, but it's one of those things where the algorithm, you know how it is. I mean, I follow 800 people and I don't see 800 tweets a day. That one never really showed up in my daily feed. So you and I talked a little bit before the show about it. And, but I think you spoke to both sides of it. I mean, you spoke to, what he needs to do, moving forward if he wants support and what was wrong and right. So I'm not going to add any more to that, but it's crazy. It's crazy how insanely you got to pick a side and then you got to dig in. And
because if you don't, everyone hates you.
So that's why I try not. I was like, I try to curate my feed to where I don't find myself having to pick a side. So I
want to interrupt real quick. Kevin K in the chat, it says it looks like there are 3 hanging knives on the yellow wall. My dad crafted. He was a whittler. and he made some spoons for me. And I could never use them because, like, right after he made these for me, he died. My wife got that little display case right after that, so we could hang them up and use them as decoration. So, not knives up there. I mean, I have ninja swords just hidden around the house and nunchucks just in case of emergency. You could just whip it out. But yeah, no, they're very special to me. Wooden spoons whittled by my dad. All right, sorry.
That's awesome. No problem at all. Before I go to our next topic, I've got it written down. It's right here in front of me. I forgot to do it last week, and by damn, I forgot to do it again this week. We all know that, Chris Goldline Cards provided the talent for our opening intro, but I have failed to recognize, and I did it. I ran this crying across. I ran this, but I failed to recognize Nick 33. On Twitter, he's at Nicolicious33. He's a younger member of the hobby. Really, really talented with graphics and doing that kind of stuff. He made my Twitter banner. He made Goldline Cards Twitter logo. He makes Eric Hecker's Twitter logos. And he's the one that took all of our elements together, the picture of you, my picture, and he created our intro. And he's a super, super good guy.
Super nice kid, man.
Super nice kid. And I just wanted to take a minute to recognize him. And if you're watching this and you go to the show description, if you expand the show description, I've got the link to his Twitter account. Give him a follow. If you need anything done graphically, man, he loves to do it. He wants to do it. He steps up and says, "Hey, I'll do it. I'll do it." So if you need anything like that done, man, give Nick a follow. He's a great kid. He posts good content on Twitter. And then, he'll be more than willing to help you out. So Nick, I don't know if you're watching tonight or not. I can't see the list of who's watching, but thank you so much for doing that for us. And
yes,
I apologize.
Thank you, Nick.
I apologize for not recognizing you last week, but I wanted to make sure that everybody knew what a great job you did for us. And I appreciate you.
And he's always there, retweeting your stuff, asking questions, interacting, in the friendliest way. He did say he can't draw, so that's why I had to go for the anime, because I want to get like my little logo. I want like Snoopy head Tom with his tie and like an anime Disney cartoon, so I could put it on like my little logo for Twitter, and then like on the back of the cards that I'm gonna make as like my little business hobby cards. So that's kind of what. Oh yeah, and he's a Bronco fan, so that worked great for a lot of our.
You know what's crazy?
Year, so.
He's in the midst of choosing his college, right? So a couple of weeks ago, he was visiting. He's not from Kentucky. He's not from Pennsylvania, but he was visiting the University of Kentucky, and he was visiting Penn State before going back home. So I knew he was going to be in Lexington visiting UK. So I was like, hey man, Kentucky Cards, Jimmy has this awesome new shop in Lexington. While you're in town, you should go visit it. He's like, I'm planning to do it on Saturday. And I was like, well, I'll drive up and I'll meet you there. Well, then it turns out that the Bearded Baptist, and his wife Anna, they're in Lexington. Anna. Yeah, they're in Lexington the same weekend. So they're planning to go to Jimmy's shop. So I talked to Nick and he's like, I'm going to I'll probably be there right when they open. And I was like, man, I can't get there right when they open. So I'm sorry, I can't meet up with you. So I ended up meeting with Anna and her husband, the Bearded Baptist.
Yep.
And we stayed there about 30 or 45 minutes, talked to Jimmy, had a great conversation. The conversation moved outside to the sidewalk. And then we kept talking, and we probably talked for 10 or 15 minutes on that sidewalk. And then we broke it up and I ran off to my car. And then Chris Goldline Cards sends me a DM, says, Nick's at Jimmy's right now. And I'm like 3 minutes away. Turns out while we were standing outside on the sidewalk, he walked right past us, but we'd never seen each other. So I didn't get a chance to meet him. I didn't get a chance to talk to him. That stunk, man, because, hopefully he chooses UK. And if he does, then I'm going to buy that young man lunch, and we're going to hang out a little bit. So let's move on.
Yes.
Because we're 30 minutes in. Other
30 more to go.
No, we might. And if you guys got to go, I mean, this is me and Tom. I don't know how long this will last. I don't know if we'll go the hour and a half that Chris went on his around the hobby last Tuesday, but
if you want to, I can.
Yeah. So if you're still hanging with us, thank you. If you need to cut out, please cut out. We don't know how, we didn't plan this. I told you it might be a train wreck. But Topps announced this week that they are going public. I know my opinion on that. I see your opinion right there. What do you think about Topps going public, Tom?
So, last company I worked for that was private that went public was Vitamin Cottage. They were Colorado natural grocers chain, Natural Grocers by Vitamin Cottage. And they were just a bunch of laid back hippies. They'd be like, hey man, you're 10 minutes late, but that's cool. Can you stock some stuff? And you're like, yeah, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm going to go crush everything. And the store in Boulder is small. So I could literally stock the entire store twice in an 8-hour shift, just fast. And this was 9 years ago. So I was a little younger, in my mid 30s, not, my early 40s like I am now. So, but they were nice and they were chill because half the store was selling dope to the other half. And, it's not like they were just like, we don't care. They cared, but they also cared about you. And it was like, we have this program that if it's your birthday, you get an 8-hour paid holiday. Because the old owner, she used to take everyone out to lunch on their birthday, but that's not feasible because we have 100 stores and thousands of employees. So now you just get a paid holiday on your birthday. You can work it and take the extra 8 hours on top, or you can just take your birthday off, cool little things like that. And then they were going public and it became, how much more can we squeeze out of you? Like if you work 100%, how much more money can we make if we make you work 101%? And it's like, okay, now we want you to work 110% so we can make 0.25% more profit, makes our stores look great. You're exhausted and miserable, so you're going to be crappy. Sorry, I almost said a bad word. Crappy to our customers. So it's just kind of like the squeeze, and it's like in Star Wars, the tighter you squeeze, the more systems will slip in your fingers. And that's what happened. It went from, okay, like, hey, we're all here working. Everybody gets along pretty much. And, hey, yeah, to that person is unhappy and she quit. That person's unhappy, put her 2 weeks notice in. The manager just told the other manager to go F himself and he hopes he dies and he quit, So it's just like, the stress involved with that, and it's profit. We don't answer to our customers. We answer to our shareholders. Our shareholders, they demand this, they demand that because they are invested in our company and they need to see their investments go up. So that means we have to make changes to make money. And that's what Topps is going to do. If, Eric, the back pages, he's so mad about Project 2020, 2021. And, it's like, it's a cash grab. And it's like, this is all that's going to happen. We're going to have Project 2022, 23, 24 until it is not profitable. It's going to keep happening and it's probably going to expand. And if you thought Garbage Pail Kids Chrome Sapphire UK Bin Baller Edition was stupid now, there's going to be that version for every freaking product. If they can't make it a Chrome Sapphire, oh, you like thick cards like I do? No, thick cards are stupid because we can't Chrome Sapphire them, so they're going to get canceled. And now you only have definitive, which is, $3,000 a box. Or you can, be like everyone else and chase the shiny sparkle cards. And it's this. Yes. Oh, they're going to be more transparent and we're going to see no, someone will see it for you and then tell you their opinion. You're not going to formulate it yourself. Most likely there are some really smart people in the hobby. So I'm not insulting them because they will look it up and they will tell me what to think. And I'll be like, probably. But it's just going to be this way. And it's just like, guys, do you not see this? The things that you complained about so much last year, this is how it's gonna be for the near future, and it might get better. But if you've ever been in a company that went public, you know it's a nightmare. It is excruciating and it's awful. No one cares about you anymore. Sorry, I'm on a roll. I used to work for Kroger, and they've been public for forever. Small town Gunnison, where I grew up, 5,000 people. That's all that lived there. Kroger has 2,000 stores. I was a produce manager. I was in the top 3% of EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxation, and amortization. Fancy. I made money. I stacked racks. Top 3% in all of the Kroger stores. There were times where I'd be the number one sales in corn and like organic nuts. And they would just be like, Tom, you're killing it. You're crushing it. How are you doing it? And I'd be like, well, you see how other people have payroll and they pay other employees? Our store doesn't do that. So 5 of us work 60 hours a week and yeah, we're all good. So that's why we get stuff done. But then after a while, they get tired of your crap. And I would get tired of their crap. They'd come out with these new programs and I'd be like, we tried this 2 years ago and it didn't work. You switched it back immediately. What makes you think this time? And then all of a sudden they're like, we don't care about money. we want you gone. You're not an amazing superstar, even though your numbers show. You're just a problem. We don't care. We're going to get rid of you because we think it's just not you. It's just it's our programs. That's why we're successful, is because you implemented our programs right. And let me tell you, I cleaned and I did all those things right. But as for Kroger's programs of how you're supposed to do things, I did none of that. And I made more money than anyone else in Colorado. So this is how miserable it's going to be for the Tops employees. You thought it was bad that they only had one person answering calls to deal with the 500 people? I mean, they're not going to hire more. I'm sorry. It's you better start talking about how you feel about it.
Yeah, it's not going to be good for the hobby. It's not going to be good for us, for the collector. It's not. There was a famous economist, and if I'd known that we were going to go kind of this route, I would have taken the time to look it up. But there was an economist in the 70s who wrote some piece that ended up getting published in every major newspaper, every major magazine in America. And I'm no economist, but I know he single-handedly was kind of responsible for the change in corporate culture. Before then, corporations were seen as stewards of the community. They were seen as, as having a responsibility to their employees and to their customers. But starting in the late 70s, and it's gotten progressively worse and worse and worse and worse. Corporations now only answer to the shareholder. They do not answer to the customer. I mean, that's a fact, and you cannot dispute it. Their first mission will not be to provide the customer with the best possible product, the best possible experience, the best possible outcome. Their only mission is to take care of the shareholder. So if that means we're back to junk wax and we'll just print more, everybody knows right now it's just printing money. It's just printing money at the moment because, I know Tops, we pretty much figured out it's got a bigger print run this year on the flagship than it did last year, but it's still not at those 80s and 90s levels.
No.
When you talk about a bubble bursting, when Tops goes public and they see, we think Panini's bad right now. It's going to go, Tops is going to get stupid because they're just going to print, and they're still going to keep the price, because eventually the market will correct them. But there'll be quite a long period of time to where we're still paying what the going market rate is, not knowing just how much they're printing on the back end. And then customer service will not get better. There's no way it'll get better because what are they going to do? You mentioned it. They're going to try to increase productivity while reducing, cost. How do you reduce cost? Labor. You cut labor. That is the number one. So they're going to ask more of their employees. They're going to have less employees doing it. So you think their customer care is bad now? It'll be Panini level bad when they get through with this. So not going to be good for the hobby. I don't like it. So
I have another thought I want to add. Tops put tribute boxes on the website for 400.
I saw that.
And I thought that used to be like a $200 project. And so Topps kind of had their similar prices for their stuff on their website, but now it seems like they're going the Panini little baby step, increasing that. If I had shareholders and they take a look at that and they're like, why are Walmart and Target making all this money off your retail products? Why don't you just print more and keep it on your website? And then Topps is not going to care if bots buy it. Are you a shareholder? Do you care if bots buy out all the product, or you just care that the product's bought out? You just care that it's gone and profits. So we could see more stuff move to online. We could see stuff go up in price. A blaster could be $30-$40 online from Topps. And then bots are going to buy it out. And then you're going to have to pay. I'm a doomer on this, and I'm sorry. Like I said, there could be good things that come from this. That's going to be down the road. It's going to be rough the first few years. So that's just kind of how I feel about it. Like, buckle up, buckaroos, because it's going to be fun.
Well, let's talk about something positive. Well, your buddy, your best friend in the hobby, Miss Lauren Taylor, is killing it on Project 70 right now. I last time we did the show, I talked about, I hadn't ordered a Project 70 yet, but she put out that Lou Gehrig that, we talked about all 3 cards. And, Topps did a really good job of getting them to, the last time we did the show 16 days ago, and I hadn't even ordered them yet, and I've got them in hand now. But she did another Dodgers card. But she let us know something today that we didn't know before. There's been so much complaining in the hobby about the Dodgers and the Yankees, Give us some Cubs, give us some Reds, give us anybody but the damn Dodgers and the damn Yankees. But she tweeted something today that gave us a little insight into that. So you want to talk about that?
Yes. I saw her have a giveaway, retweet, tell me which of my 3 cards is the favorite. And, people were commenting, and, someone was just like, I love your stuff so much, but it's just Dodgers and Yankees. And I'm sick of it. And she said, Topps scripted my first 3 cards. After this, you'll see more of me. And so I don't know. So there's 2 theories here, and I did tweet about this. Did Topps say you have to do these 3 players first? Or did they take her entire list of 20 and be like, okay, these are the 3 players you're going to do first? And that's probably why, it's kind of been so heavy one way, is Topps wants to get the big chasers out there. Let's get our Yankees out there. Let's get the excitement of Mickey Mantle and, all these going. So she didn't have a choice. But she delivered amazing card. I hate the Dodgers. I hate the Dodgers more than any other baseball team. It used to be the Red Sox. Now it's, the Dodgers a little bit more. It's just, but that card, it's just so, it's the art. And then her art has a story in the art, and they're just so good that, so just hold off on complaining. Let's see how this goes. People are putting their 3rd cards out there. Let's see what happens when the 4th card comes out. And if it's still all Yankees and Dodgers, maybe we can't start, feeling good about being like, what up, artist? You're just killing us here. But still appreciate their work for what it is, because it is so, so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've become a Lauren Taylor fan. I've had some interactions with her in DMs through you. So thank you, Twitter influencer. You've kind of connected me with her, and I've been able to have a small amount of conversations with her. But another artist, my favorite artist since Project 2020 began has been Blake Jameson. But, we're going to talk about Blake in a second. But my second favorite Project 2020 artist was F. Dot. And then he's always been very interactive on Twitter as well. Not quite as much as Blake was at the beginning, but, there's all kinds of times I'll tweet something and I'll get a notification. It's like, F. Dot Studios liked your tweet. I was like, that's really cool. But he posted a story the other day. He was really excited because Apple did a feature on him. They were, doing a promotion for their iPad Pro, but they chose him and his Project 70 work because he uses an iPad Pro. And in that article, we got a sneak peek that we would not have gotten, that he's doing a Josh Gibson card coming up in a few weeks. And I lost my mind. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. First we had a Satchel Paige in the Project 70.
But he did play in the majors, though. So
and he played in the majors.
Negro Leagues to majors. Jackie, cool. Hank Aaron, cool. Yeah. Sorry, but
to see that Josh Gibson is getting a card in Project 70, and I only hope that this is not the last one. I hope another artist. If y'all don't know this, Lauren Taylor watched our episode last week. So if not, if you're watching, Blake, if you're watching, if any of the artists are watching tonight, we need more of that kind of stuff, in my opinion. Like I said, maybe the first 3 cards were scripted, but let's make it. I mean, and you might not have the appreciation for the Negro Leagues as I did, but man, those guys, have just throughout the history of cards. I mean, there's just not been enough of enough stuff for us to have with those guys. So I am all over this Josh Gibson. I hope a couple other artists do a Josh Gibson card. I would love to see a cool Papa Bell card. Just more tributes. I mean, we're coming off the 100th anniversary of Negro Leagues. I mean, what better way to pay tribute? I know this is a tribute to the 70 years of Topps, and there haven't been Topps cards, but we can fix that, right? Let's make it a tribute to, hey, we did not have these cards, back then. And I know there's licensing agreements and they got to get, they got to work with the estate of that player to be allowed to do this kind of thing. But now that I see that we can have a Josh Gibson card, I hope we have more. And then I hope we see some more stuff like that other than just another Dodger and another Yankee.
Yeah. So, and if you don't know the story of Josh Gibson and why he is so important, you needed to go down that rabbit hole. Imagine the best black player ever. Yeah. Imagine hitting 800 home runs in the Negro Leagues. Imagine not being invited to play in Major League Baseball, and then kind of dying of a broken heart is kind of what it feels like to me. Through all that.
37 years old. He died at 37. Babe Ruth was the Josh Gibson of the major leagues. That's what people have said. Who saw both of them play. That Babe Ruth was the Josh Gibson, not the other way around. I'm really looking forward to that. So, real quick, we've gone 49 minutes. Let's do 10 more minutes and cut it off at 1 hour. So if you want to go, go. But we just talked about, the Project 70 and the artist. And I did mention Blake Jameson. He did something really cool this past couple of weeks. Blake, from the get-go, for a solid year, when Project 2020 first came out, you cannot debate that Blake Jameson was at the forefront of being interactive with the fans on Twitter. And he's kept that going. So you might hate Top Shot. You might think NFTs are stupid. This is dumb, but I'm here to tell you it's where not only the hobby, but society and the economy and commerce is going. It is going that way. So Blake Jameson's actually kind of helped me. I'm not a boomer, but I'm damn close. And so
Gen X.
Last week, Blake, and he announced it a couple weeks ago that he was going to do it, but he created probably a total of 1,100 or so free NFTs that he just gave to people that subscribe to his newsletter or watch his videos on YouTube. And he just gave them away. He minted all these NFTs, and he gave them away. Hold on, I'll show you. I got mine up here. Share screen, Chrome tab. So I was not fortunate enough to be one. He gave away up to 999 of these. He's calling them Blake coins. It doesn't look like it's much. It's just it's just a coin. But what this represents is it's an NFT that can be sold. It can be bought and sold on the secondary market on places like Rarible or OpenSea. And then Blake gave these to his fans. And then if you buy it or sell it, or anytime there's an exchange between people, if I were to sell this thing for I don't even know it, the Ethereum, 0.01 Ethereum, Blake would get 23% of that sale. And if the next person sells it for whatever they sell it for, Blake gets 23% of that sale, kind of to infinity. Anytime it's bought or sold, Blake gets a royalty on it. So he gave away coins. Some people got lucky enough to get like actual paintings, and not only the digital version. If you got the digital version, he was going to give you the print as well. But there were very few of those. I think there were 24 total. There was one that there was a 1 of 1, and then there was one that he limited to 23. But he's actually, this is what's so cool. He's giving it as a gift, but he's encouraging you to sell it. And it makes sense because he'll make money every time you sell it. But he's like, hey, I've got a fan out here, who likes to have this. So, he gave this to me. I can go sell it for whatever I want to try to sell it for. And he's not going to get mad. That's what he wants to do because he's going to make money. So, I mean, he's on the cutting edge. He's on top of this kind of stuff. And you know what? But what it's taught me is I had to do a MetaMask wallet. I had to learn what the hell,
Wax,
I was
Ethereum.
lost, man. I'm 45 years old, but this has helped me kind of not be such a boomer. So
will you bring that picture up that you had before?
I don't know if I'll be able to do it because now that I've cut it, let me try it. Hold on a second.
Because this is just a coin to actually buy the NFT. Because if you see, mark your calendars halfway down, June 1st is when the NFT becomes available. And this coin for that NFT, we don't know what we're getting yet. So
that's true. Yeah.
But just to do this for your fans, just for being like, hey, you're on my email list, that means you like me. I like you for liking me. So here you go. It's fantastic. And
absolutely.
You're right about the wallets, man. Like, okay, I have a MetaMask, so I can get Ethereum. Well, Ethereum sucks because of the gas fees. So let's not do that. Now let's do Wax because Wax is cheaper, but it's only in the UK and you can't buy Wax in the United States, but you can still trade and own them. But it's getting confusing. And I hope at one point the dust is going to settle because now everyone is just trying to cash in. So be careful. Do not rush out to buy NFTs yet.
Yeah.
This is the Wild West. Everyone is throwing up their NFTs to try to cash in on this. Like everyone started joining Top Shot to get the stimmy packs, Do your research, find something or someone you trust and invest in that. For some people, it's just Top Shot. I trust that Top Shot. I think I like where it's going. It makes sense to me. I understand the mechanics of it all. It's simple. Send me all the nuggets that you get. Your free pack, they've minted like 3 or 4 new nugget moments that are common. So I'm excited. I'll be able to buy some here soon. The Zed race. I'm sure you guys have seen your Twitter feeds with the horse racing and people buying and breeding horses.
Dude, Ivan is the next D. Wayne Lucas. I mean, that Ivan is going crazy on that.
It's not for me because like the Ethereum, I can, why people don't like it and what a gas fee is. When you mine Bitcoin, what you're doing is you're just reviewing the transactions. You're basically checking receipts with your computer to verify all the transactions are legit. And then you enter in this DEX code or whatever, you try to find it, and then they'll give you Bitcoin based on how big the block was that you did. I'm generalizing, look it up, but that's kind of what you're doing. You're working for them or they're paying you to work. The gas fees on Ethereum, they're like, if you want your transaction to go through, like, hey, I want to buy Ivan's horse for $100, whatever point Ethereum that is, I want to buy it. But that transaction has to be verified, and that's where those gas fees come in.
Yep.
The gas fees basically like, I have $100 bill in my hand. Can you get me a table close to the kitchen, or whatever? You're greasing the wheel. So the more gas fee that you add on top of your transaction, that's little miners that are little miner hats on, and you're just, oh, hey, yeah, that's the one for me. I'm going to do that one first. Jump on it. you're going to get your transaction approved faster. Even if I'm like, hey, man, I'll sell it to you for $100. You could be waiting a long time if you don't have the gas fees. And they have a little chart that shows like, hey, in the middle of the day, your gas fees are going to be huge. If you do this at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, your gas fees are lower. But it's like, that's not an environment I want to be in, because it's confusing on top of even being confusing. So I've had Lance the Don. He's a goofy kid. I really like him. He's big into NFTs. He's not safe for work. He swears, does all, so if you like your wholesome Christian values, he's not a good follow for that. But Lance the Don, he might have changed his name to NFT something. If you need to know who he is, just DM me and I'll hook you up. But he's really into NFTs and he's trying to learn. He's not an expert, but he wants to learn. So he's always asking questions. And, he's the one, he sent me on Wax because he was waiting for the Godzilla Tops NFTs. And he's like, I joked. I was joking. I was like, if you get a Mothra, hook me up, bro. Got a Mothra, and he sent me a little Mothra card NFT from Tops on this Wax wallet. And then he sent me a Street Fighter Bianca, NFT that he had an extra of. And he's just like, I just got to get you started, man. So that's what the beauty of this is sorry. People are so giving. That's how Che and I kind of, Top, you can't get anything. Well, I'll give you this. You could just stare at this one moment and see if you like it or not. And if not,
I've still got that Kendrick Nunn. I'll never sell it. I've got 9 UK Wildcats and 1 Kendrick Nunn. So, I appreciate you. Yeah, that gas fee. Blake was posted. He posted something the other day. He won some kind of giveaway and had to pay $100 gas fee to get it. He's like, what is this?
So the transaction goes through. Yeah, otherwise, you're going to languish.
Yeah. All right, Tom. We've been 58 minutes, man. Guys, this is so fun for us. And the fact that I don't care if you're watching right now, if you were watching at the beginning, if you came in 30 minutes in, if you watched this, thank you so much. We're just we're two goofballs that just love to talk to each other, love to talk about sports. And then whatever, like I said, we're both in our 40s and this is increasingly becoming a young man's hobby. And we're just trying to wade our way through it. And we decided we wanted to do it together. So we appreciate you as always. And, Tom, I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. I think, you've had a chance to speak your mind this evening. So we will, if you want to say goodbye to the folks before I
let Chris,
I'll let
appreciate
Chris and his beautiful daughter, Claire, take us home with those golden pipes of his. And we'll see you guys in about 2 weeks. Thank you so much.
Yes.
This is the Tom Che Show. It's not the Che Tom Show. It is my favorite show because it is my show.